Welcome back, I'm the Watch Nerd. On this video, we're going to talk about the Rolex Daytona, and more importantly, is it functional at all? So we're going to cover all the steps here. But before I do so, I want to keep announcing my Chanel chain giveaway. I'm going to be giving out this Chanel chain as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to be entered, there's the 4 steps in the description below. Okay, so going into the Rolex Daytona, I love it. I wear it all the time. I can get my hands on it. Now, this is not a piece I own yet, and it's definitely in the future, far in the future for me. But there are a few questions, right? I love it to bits, so don't say that, you know, I'm a hater of the Rolex Daytona. No, I think it's a great watch. If you ever get the chance to buy it at retail or for a good deal, go ahead. Of course, I'm not saying never always buy it, actually, if you can get it at retail. But there are some questions that come arise. So this is an earlier, well, the previous generation, and I'll throw in some images. I'm going to talk to you like this, but I'll put on some wrist shots, some outside shots. The more important thing is, I was thinking to myself, I tried to time something on the Daytona because, you know, it's a chronograph complication. It's meant to time things. And I was finding it took a very long time to unscrew the pushers. And then, of course, I missed the thing I was supposed to time. So is it functional? Now, all mechanical watches are technically, you know, not a necessity. There's quartz. Go buy a Timex for $10 if you want an accurate watch. That's just a fact, and we all have to live with it. But the whole appeal of the Daytona is the chronograph, right? That's what it's meant for. With screw-down pushers, yes, it adds to the water resistance, which it's meant for. Well, not meant for. It's not actually meant for their water resistance because they have very little lume. This is not a diver whatsoever. Rolex never recommends diving in this watch. That's why they have the Submariner. And that's what I find very interesting. You know, Omega's got this part down, right? They have the pump pushers on the Omega Speedmaster. That's what it is. That, you know, that is a chronograph. If they were in space and they were trying to do a time, they would have to unscrew for Apollo 13. They would have to unscrew the actual pushers. With pump pushers, it's very easy to click and do it perfect. So, you know, that's really, you know, important for accuracy, and if you're needing it. The screw-down pushers, yes, it's great for sports and everyday piece to have screw-down everything and make sure, I believe it's stated 100 meters. It's trip lock crown with screw-down pushers. I think you can easily do 300, but at the same time, it's not meant to do that. So that's why they put 100. That's what they did on the Yachtmaster too. They put a trip lock crown, and of course it's the same case back. It's a 40 mil, the older Yachtmasters, and they put only 100 meters, but that's not the point. So is it really, you know, worth, is it the tool it's supposed to be? And I say no. Is it the perfect everyday watch? Probably, yes. Does it not function as the chronograph to go to? Maybe not. For the best chronograph that you need split-second accuracy, sometimes you have the screw-down pushers. Now, if you unscrew the pushers and you know you're doing things, that's fine. But I don't know, Zenith, they have the ones with the pump pushers, and they are cheaper options. I mean, the retail of the Omega Speedmaster, the new version, I think is $65 in that range, and the Rolex Daytona is 13. I think they raised it again, 13,100. 150, I think they just raised it this previous year. I'm pretty sure they raised it by like $50 or something. But is it that much better? Is it what, double? And I say yeah, just because of, you know, the brand, the heritage, but not more importantly, you know, the hype is something to talk about with the Daytona, but it earns it. In my mind, it earns it. And I think it's a great, almost the perfect everyday watch. But at the same time, I don't think it's the best chronograph for space travel. That's why I think they did it. Now, originally, I do have to say it was pump pushers, the old versions. And certain people, certain collectors love the pump pushers, I should say, and I do too. I think they're fantastic, but other collectors like the screw down, and I get it, right? It's a more secure case. I get it. I like the screw down pushers just because it's iconic on the Rolex Daytona. I also like the pump pushers. I could go either way if I could ever afford and maintain a piece like that. But you know, with this particular model or any of the screw down pushers, yeah, you're losing that quick second accuracy unless you keep them always unscrewed, but it doesn't make sense because you don't want water getting in there. So that's my whole thing on the Daytona. What do I think it is? I think it's, one, I think it's a great, fantastic everyday piece. Two, I think maybe it's not the best chronograph, and three, it's a effing Daytona, right? Like, you know, it is the chronograph. If you think of a chronograph, maybe Speedmaster, maybe to, you know, the watch collector. But if you ask a person, what's your favorite Rolex watch? And I've asked maybe 50 to 100 people at the Rolex store, just people coming in, because I'm there every Saturday on my hunt for steals, and they always say Panda Daytona, and they call it the Panda. It's a white dial, you know, that's what I call it. Man, it's just it's beautiful. It's like you know, it's very few things you hold and you're like, okay, that's a grail, you know, because you don't get sick of any reference of the Rolex Daytona, even the ones that are not, you know, hyped. Believe it or not, there are some later than the Paul Newman 6.2, I believe 6.2, 6.3. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that. That's right though, I'm pretty sure. But there are later references that are not as hyped, that you can get in the 20 range, more like 30 range sometimes. But if you can find them, they're not that, you know, they're hand wind. Some of them, and they're still fantastic. Every version of the Daytona is classic. What can you say? You know, I guess the Speedmaster too, every version is iconic, but it did a transformation, right? The Daytona, it did a little bit of transformation, but not like the Speedmaster, because the original ones had the you know, smooth bezel, wasn't the aluminium. But I would love to hear it all down in the comments below. Do you think it's functional? Do you like the Rolex Daytona, or do you prefer the Speedmaster? Because, you know, they're very different watches. The Speedmaster is the chronograph. If you want split-second timing, you want to start that chronograph instantly. At the same time, you're sacrificing really all sports. I would never, actually, I have a Speedmaster. Hold on, let me bring that in. Okay, I brought back a Speedmaster. So I actually reviewed this as a vintage Speedmaster. And I'll pop in some images here, but they look completely different, right? They're very, and you could tell that the Rolex will last a lifetime. I'm not saying the Speedmaster won't, but you do have to baby it. And I'm sorry I say that. Now, when you get all defensive in the comments, this is a vintage piece. That's why I say, that's number one, why I say it's a baby piece. And you can't do everything with it, right? I get it. Dress watches, you have to baby. It's the same type of thing. Now, this is a little more robust, you know, a little bit more, what do you say, like rugged. The same time, the metal bracelets are garbage. You know, they are. The recent ones are better, especially the new one. But the old bracelets were tremendously horrific. And on Rolex, you know, they kind of got that down, right? That's the Oyster bracelet, any iteration, even, you know, the rivets, the old stuff, it's just fantastic. I'm wearing a Jubilee. I love this piece. It's one of my new favorites. And I will do a video on it with you too. I would love to know also, this is an OP, I'll throw in an image there. And the really cool thing is, it's not really an Oyster Perpetual. It's just a plain Oyster. Oh man, it is beautiful. Hand wound movement. Shoots very, very light. And on the Jubilee, there's no screws. There's no push pins. It's actually folded links. And it's very, very thin. Yes, of course, it's stretched out over the years. Oh, but man, I love this piece. A white dial. It shows off a little different in the camera, but it's very white. It's basically, I'm going to say it's the same white as it did when it went up to Mount Everest. So that's it. That's where I want to leave it here. It's probably getting a little too long for this type of video, but I don't know. There's so much to talk about with these chronographs and the history. It's just absolutely fantastic and amazing. So that's it, and I will catch you in the next one. If you do want the Chanel chain giveaway, I'm going to be giving that out as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you do want to be entered, I would follow the 4 steps, and I'll automatically enter you into the competition. Thank you, and I will catch you on the next one.